I'm Miss Susan. My family name is Amy. I know it's a bit confusing, but that's who I am. Nice to meet you both. And today I'll be your teacher just for this week as your relief teacher. It's great to see you both. Just to let you know, I'm not in Singapore at the moment. I'm in the UK. So I'm over the other side of the planet from you, right? But thanks to technology, we're in the same classroom. Okay, dope. All right. So I realize that it's the beginning of the year for you, and also that Chinese New Year is next week or over the weekend. So probably your minds are not so much on your studies, but if you can focus for the next hour and a half, that would be awesome to focus on your English. So today we'll be covering the worksheet that you did, lesson 66 and 67. Have you completed these already, Jaden, Haresh?
Yeah, I just did it just now.
Oh, okay, so it's fresh in
I
your
managed to
mind.
do the MCQ though. I didn't manage to do the comprehension as I was very rushed a few days ago. I was very busy.
Okay, so can you do it live with us today, Jaden? That would be fine. Yeah. Okay, so Haresh will give you a little bit of a break there where you just try some questions out in the session itself. Great. Okay. All right. So as I said, I'm feeling forgiving because I know beginning of the year you've got to kind of crank up your study skills. It always takes a bit of time. So well done, Haresh, for completing it. We're going to go through the MCQs. We'll do the comprehension, and at the end we've got a chance to look at a video and talk about the video. All right. So without further ado, let's go to the first session, which the first part of our session today, vocabulary MCQs. All right. Okay. So as we go through this, it's really important for us to think about strategies, because when you have MCQ, you've got to have a strategy, right? I'm sure your teachers and your tutors have taught you some strategies. I'm interested to know how you tackle the question. So I'm going to ask Jaden, how did you tackle this question? Was it automatic that you knew the answer, or did you go through and kind of discard some answers?
I read the options first, and then I read the question. For whatever options which I feel is not suitable for the answer, I just think of it as wrong, and then I just do like elimination, and then I left with one answer. If I have two answers, then I'll just pick one, or pick what I feel is more suitable.
Right. So you chose.
Which one? B.
You chose B. Okay. And so you didn't come to that first of all. So I like your strategy. Your technique is very good. And it works for some questions. It doesn't work for others, right? So sometimes you have an automatically, you say, no way is that the answer. That's absolutely, completely the wrong answer. That is such a red herring. I can see it. It's so obvious. But sometimes it's a bit tricky. So this particular one is a bit tricky because everything begins with IRR. So, is really, you can get a bit muddled up here. So the answers that are not correct, don't forget to keep that vocabulary as well, because if you don't know those words, write them down, look them up. There's some extra vocabulary for you to learn there. And all of these words are extremely useful for your exam, very useful for essay writing, and especially non-fiction, where you're writing an argumentative essay. These are excellent words with the IRR. Okay, so Haresh, you chose B as well?
Yes, I chose B.
You chose B. So which one did you think was the most obviously wrong?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, I think it was irrelevant and irresistible because they don't fit in correctly.
Yeah. So what does irresistible mean again?
You cannot resist the urge to do something.
Correct. Yes. So the urge to buy something was irresistible. Exactly. Yes. Thank you. So we have irrelevant. Yeah, you said it's not relevant, right? Redeemable is not redeemable. How do we use that, Jaden? Irredeemable.
Like you are unable to redeem yourself after you did something wrong like that.
Yeah, you can't turn back the clock, right? Exactly. So well, you can't turn back the clock, that's irredeemable. Yes, it can't be got back ever again. Thank you very much for that. So moving on to number 2. Okay, Haresh, tell us how you worked on this one.
The answer was quite obvious because when you read the question, you can already see that they're talking about punctuality.
Cool. Okay, so the obviously wrong answer is this one, right? Is completely wrong. Yes, we know that one. But the next 3, there's some similarity there, right? And before I go on, hi Sherman, would you like to turn on your camera?
Hi, can you give me like 1 minute to open it?
Yes, sure, no problem at all. Okay, so immediate and imminent have something to do with time, right, Haresh? Haresh, did you get me there? So immediate and imminent have something to do with time, but why are they not? Why can't they fit in here?
It doesn't really suit well in the sentence. That's it. I think like immediately is like very fast like that. Immediately, something like that.
Yes. So to be immediate, I am immediate. We don't usually say I am immediate, right? So we say, you know, I need an immediate answer. We might use it that way, right? And the train is imminent, meaning coming soon. So you're absolutely right. So I found this one much easier than number 1 too. I think that obviously callous is kind of a weird answer, and that immediate and imminent probably might need some thinking about. So Sherman, have you done the worksheet?
No.
Oh, okay, that's all right. You're in the same boat as someone else. So we're going to do it live with you now, okay?
Yeah.
And we're talking about strategies, especially of answering the questions. And here's a handy one. I'm going to give it to Jaden while Sherman, you're settling down in class. Jaden.
I put D as my answer, but then when I answered the question, it said B is correct.
This is a more difficult one, isn't it? Yes. So these words are not so common. I mean, thrifty is something you see in Singapore quite often. People talk about thrifty. Many people in Singapore are thrifty. Thankfully, they take care of their money. But cursory, mirthful, and flagitious especially are very unusual words. Let's say that. So you rarely see flagitious. And you need to probably look it up in the dictionary, you know, after this if you're not sure. But you might see some other words, or you might know some other words, but it's just similar with the word the part of the word flag in the front. What do you know with that begins with flag? Anybody? Another word which begins flag? No, doesn't come to mind. Okay, all right. So there's this word flagrant. Do you know the word flagrant?
No.
No. Okay, all right. So we'll look it up. So flagrant, flag kind of is from the original Latin, means to burn. Okay, and there it came to mean flagrant, which is like burning or something obviously bad, and then it moved on to a bad meaning, and it moved on to criminal, so something criminal happening there. That flagrant means you don't care whether people see or not, you are doing something bad, and flagitious means criminal. So it's good to collect these words when you see them beginning with the same kind of letters. You think, oh yeah, that reminds me of another word. So keep these words in a kind of group to remind yourself of what that word stem means. Okay, so have you heard of the word mirth before? Sherman? Never heard of mirth? It's an old-fashioned word for joy, happiness, okay? So it means happy, mirthful means happy. So these are kind of, like I said, very unusual words. And because they're unusual, good to just note that we don't use this in everyday conversation. You're more likely to use them, to find them in a book written in a novel or something like that. So they're not very common, except for A, which is thrifty. Okay, moving on now to 4. Sherman, I'm going to ask you to try this. And again, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We're going to question your choice. You know, is this your final answer? Okay.
The entire office was buzzing over the latest scandal between the 2 famous young movie stars.
Sounds good, Sherman. So why did you pick buzzing? Why did you discard the others?
It can't be thinking over the latest scandal.
Why not?
It doesn't make sense.
Good. Yeah, think over means, I need to think over that. So consider, take some time, pause to think about something. You're right. Think over has a different meaning. Okay. Let's go on to rustling and wailing.
I don't know the meaning of the other 2 words.
Oh, okay. Rustle. Rustle is to make a noise with some paper. That's rustling. Okay. Some people do that on sometimes in classes and I have to mute them. So rustling is completely wrong. No, you didn't know, but okay. So you may not be able to guess from the structure of the word. That's what it means. All right. So just take note and you say, oh yeah, rustling, rustling. Okay. Pick up a piece of paper to remind yourself and just, can you do it? Crumple it. That'll remind you of what the word rustling means, is to make that noise. And we know buzzing goes with news, right? So it's like gossip, buzz. Yeah. Of course, it's for a bee. I think when you're in primary school, you probably learned that bees buzz, but we also notice that human beings buzz as well. There's conversations where everybody's just talking. That's the buzzing. And wailing, wailing, oh, that is wailing, yes. So when there is a funeral, when there is some sad tragedy, people cry and howl and make all these noises. So that is wailing. And it would be very interesting if the office was wailing. That would be an interesting day at the office, I'd say. So yes, thank you for choosing the correct answer. Going back to Jaden now. Are you there, Jaden? Oh, right, you're there. Okay. All right, so number 5. Tell us about number 5.
B.
Yeah.
Irrevocable.
Yes, okay, the judge's decision is, you can say irrevocable, but I would say irrevocable. So there are 2 pronunciations, irrevocable and irrevocable. Okay, you can copy mine or not, up to you. But I've heard people say irrevocable. So I grew up knowing irrevocable, and I was kind of horrified when I heard people pronounce the other way, but I understand that that's what people do. So very often there are 2 ways to pronounce a word. For example, D, temporary. If you're American, you tend to say rari rather than temporary, which is what we would probably say in Singapore. Okay, so you chose irrevocable. And how about the other choices, Jaden?
Mercenary is like the one meaning of it is like the soldier, so I don't think it is related. Temporary, a judge's decision cannot be temporary since it says cannot be changed. Decisive doesn't really fit into the answer.
Yeah, because its decision is decisive. That would be strange, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be a very good sentence if you say, my decision is decisive. Yeah, it's kind of repetition there. So well done for analysing that. I think it's great analysis there. If we have a look at number C, the letter C, actually mercenary has 2 meanings. So the 2